Hello and welcome to Middle Eastern Thursdays. So today, guys, I am so excited because this is a video that I've been working on for several months. As you know, we have hauled quite a number of fragrances in preparation for spring and summer. But today, I am going to show you how you can optimize the use of whichever fragrances you picked up. I have a total of 17 layering combinations that I believe will result in a scent that will be perfect for spring and summer. Some of the layering combinations will give you a scent that is totally different but beautiful. Others will smell like a twist to some of the original fragrances that were used for layering. But here's how we're going to do it today, because I want to make sure that this video is not very long. And like I said, I do have 17 layering combinations. I am going to go ahead and start by sharing with you what the layering combination includes. Each layering combination has just been numbered so that if you have any questions, you can just reference the layering combination in the comment section, and then I will automatically know which one you're referring to. It is my intention that you use this video as a layering guide moving forward for the spring and summer seasons. There will be other layering videos where I will follow the exact same format, so you can always know that there is kind of like a library of layering fragrances that you can refer to. Please keep in mind that much like fragrances, layering combinations will take a different twist depending on your body chemistry. But all in all, I think that most, if not all of these layering combinations will prove to be of your complete satisfaction, and you will end up falling in love with some of them. As always, I will provide a link for all of the fragrances that I referenced during this video in the description box. But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and in this channel we love to talk about fragrances because we love to smell fabulous at all times. I upload videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, and some weeks like this week, you will get multiple bonus videos. If that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and keep in mind these will be shared in no particular order. The love is absolutely the same for all. Let's go ahead and start with layering combination number 1. So the combination of these two fragrances you will find will give you a beautiful, beautiful summer scent. This combination is quite balanced because in Musamam White, we do find a fragrance that is really not sweet. But it is musk-based. It includes some florals, some fruits, and it does have some sandalwood. But it's not like I find it to be kind of like woody. But we do find that in KHAIR Fusion, there's quite a bit of fruitiness, and this is definitely a sweet fragrance. For some reason, these two make like the perfect balancing combination. And what I find is that Musamam White does add a bit more character and a bit more, let's say, maturity to the fun nature of KHAIR Fusion. So let's say you're going on vacation. You could just take these two fragrances and you would have a fragrance for during the day and fun occasions. You would have another one that you could use for more formal events during your vacation, like during the evening or night events, and that would be Musamam. And then you have the combination of both, giving you like a third fragrance, even though you only have two with you. I think this is a beautiful mix. Let me know your thoughts. So here we have layering combination number 2. This is one of the layering combinations that is actually one of my favorites during all 17 that I'm going to share with you. There is something so exquisite to the combination of these two fragrances. On the one hand, you have AHNAN Portrait, which has some fruitiness, but also has quite a bit of oomph and character, courtesy of a very, very beautifully done oud note. The oud in this fragrance, you will agree with me, is not very, very intense, but it is definitely an oud note that you can pick up on. On the other hand, with vibrant orange and neroli, you truly have what I would call the perfect spring and summer season fragrance, where you bring that fruitiness and there's a little bit of citrusness to it, and it is sweet. It is just absolutely perfect. But when you combine these two, oh my goodness, you will get a fragrance that is perfection for the summer. And a fragrance that, even though it will smell very summery, you are definitely going to find that it has a bit more character than what you would typically just get from vibrant orange and neroli. Together, these two give you a fragrance that you can use for any occasion. Literally, day or night. AHNAN Portrait is definitely a fragrance that I think you can use during any occasion during the summer and spring seasons. But I think that when you combine it with vibrant orange and neroli, you are going to get a fragrance that is a bit more versatile, because you can really dress it down, you can dress it up, and like I said, for any occasion. Moving on to layering combination number 3. So you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, really? Oh, when I tell you this layering combination is just exceptional. There is such a beautiful twist to both fragrances when you layer them together. On the one hand, you are going to get a bit of that maturity that comes to the table when it comes to Baroque Satin Oud. But then you're also going to infuse that little bit of maturity and character with the fun that is brought on by PEAR Potion. Together, they form the perfect spring and summer season scent. It is just an absolutely beautiful fragrance that you can use again for any occasion, day or night. Also, I find that if you bring both fragrances with you, let's say on a vacation, or you just decide to use both fragrances for a couple of days during the spring or summer seasons, you will find that you're really going to end up with two fragrances that are pretty versatile and that will carry you out through any activity. On the one hand, you have like a daytime playful in PEAR Potion, and then when you mix both, you have a fragrance that can very well carry you through an informal event to a semi-formal, all the way to a black tie event, but for the spring and summer season. Moving on to layering combination number 4. Oh my goodness, guys, I don't even know where to start with this incredible layering combination. Oh my goodness. When I tell you that the combination of Rua, which is really loaded with white florals and is just a delightful, beautiful spring, primarily in my opinion, fragrance, but when you combine it with cherry cola, now you've got yourself an incredibly beautiful fragrance that will carry you not just through spring, but through spring and summer. For me, both of these fragrances together give you a new fragrance. It's like a completely new fragrance, because consider again the amount of white florals that you find in Rua, and then the sweetness and just the beauty of that cola note in cherry cola. Together, you will get a fragrance that can take you through any type of occasion, day or night, completely during the spring and summer seasons. And as a bonus, I dare say that you could even get away with using this all throughout the fall and into the early winter months. Moving on to layering combination number 5. Where do I start? Do I even need to say anything? Like, you're probably looking at this combination and you're like, why didn't I think of that? That makes total sense. Guys, the beauty of this combination is just, it's almost like they were made to be paired together at some point, if I'm honest with you. You have that crazy sweetness of forbidden sugar. You may recall when I spoke to you and reviewed this fragrance for you, I told you that this is about the sugar from beginning to end. But what they've done in this fragrance is that they've taken all of the notes that are involved and they have made sure that you understand how each note can be emphasized and made beautiful with the combination of sugar. But when I tell you that when you take forbidden sugar and you combine it with the excessive, let's call it that, citrusness of just bergamot, oh my goodness, guys, you have perfection. One does not overpower the other. There is just such a beautiful, like they melt together. And you will get a beautiful, beautiful fragrance that, by the way, will get you a ton of compliments, because I also shared with you that forbidden sugar is quite addictive. And just bergamot is like your regular freshie, but very, very intense and potent. So together, you are going to get quite a beast mode fragrance. Moving on to layering combination number 6. Where do I start? Can we just say speechless? Let me tell you guys, when I first tried this layering combination, I was like skipping around my home with joy. I thought that I had discovered like water or something. I mean, really, guys, this is an exceptionally beautiful combination for the summer. So when I've talked about each one of these fragrances individually, I have described them both individually as summer in a bottle. So imagine you taking both. Now you have an incredibly beautiful summer fragrance. But this summer fragrance is fun. But it's not as fun as just TASKEEN MARINA on its own, because now you're bringing in Zanzibar. And Zanzibar adds like a whole other layer of complexity to TASKEEN MARINA. It takes that fruitiness and definitely like balances it out. And then when you take that coconut note that you find in Zanzibar and add it to the fruitiness and the beauty of TASKEEN MARINA, now you've got yourself a completely tropical vibe. You are really going to feel like you are at the beach, whether it's at the beach where you live or at the beach in a resort. But nonetheless, you are going to feel the complete summer effect. This is an incredible layering combination that I highly recommend for the summer season. Can you get away with using it during the spring? Absolutely. But this is perfection for the summer. And the good news is that I think when I spoke about TASKEEN MARINA, I did allude to the fact that I think that this fragrance alone is more for like daytime events. This is not one that I would ever pull for like a date night during the summer, unless it's like for a dinner while we're staying at a resort during a summer vacation. With this one, I told you that you could probably use it for anything because there is quite a bit of character to this fragrance. But when you combine both, oh my goodness, this is a fragrance that will take you anywhere and that you can do anything with during the spring and summer seasons. Moving on to layering combination number 7. I was just like, oh my goodness, wait till I share this one with them. Okay, so you're probably sitting there thinking, Arahi, seriously? You're telling us to combine pistachio and pineapple? Oh my goodness, guys. I really, you know what? And the funny thing is that I tried these two together just as if like, you know, like, oh, whatever, let me go ahead and try it. Guys, First of all, there are so many layering combinations that I could share with you when it comes to Nuff. Please do not snooze on this fragrance. If you are into pineapple fragrances, this is it. This is your best friend. This is my favorite pineapple-centric fragrance in my entire collection. Whether it's for niche, whether it's for designer, it doesn't matter. This is incredible. But when you mix it with KHAIR pistachio, guys, I know that pistachio and pineapple is not something that we would typically think of, but there is just something to this combination that is beautiful. So many people think that KHAIR pistachio is not a fragrance that you should typically pull for the summer season, let's say. But let me tell you, when you add Nuff to this equation, you are going to get a tropical twist to KHAIR pistachio. Believe me, it is absolutely amazing. Moving on to layering combination number 8. You know, moving forward, all these layering combinations, you're just going to see you're just going to see the same reaction as soon as I have to talk about them, because I feel so passionately about each one of these combinations, and this one is no exception. So Iman is loaded with beautiful notes. It has an incredible orange blossom note that just gives the fragrance a totally different character. It is such a beautiful fragrance. It has other florals and it also has a couple of fruity notes, but I really pick up strongly on the orange blossom and the bergamot. And then at the base, of course, it is a vanilla fragrance. And then you have December vanilla. Oh my goodness, guys. This combination, I have to be honest with you, it's almost giving me like a gourmand fragrance completely between the two of them. This one is definitely a gourmand fragrance, but this one is not really a gourmand fragrance at all. But together, they will give you the most beautiful gourmand fragrance. And what I get is one of those desserts that are made with a vanilla custard that's been infused with some orange and some citrus notes. I don't know how to explain it, but this is absolutely beautiful. And the best news of this combination is that December vanilla is not really a fragrance for the summer. But when you combine these two together, you are going to get a beautiful summer and spring kind of gourmand fragrance. Absolutely beautiful. Is it cloying due to the intensity of Iman and then, of course, the very vanilla nature of December vanilla? No, it's not cloying at all. It's not a freshie at all, but it is a rich, beautiful, gourmandish fragrance. Absolutely love it. Moving on to layering combination number 9. Now, did you ever expect to see this layering combination? This was truly quite a surprise for me, if I'm honest with you. I decided to try it because when I sniffed each, there was just something that triggered my senses and my little olfactory wings. And I thought to myself, but let me tell you, this combination is a complete winner. And this is another instance where you are going to get a completely different fragrance that will definitely be perfectly suitable for the spring and summer season. Tariq is not a fragrance that I would ever pull for, summer. Maybe during a spring day where it's still kind of chilly, I would definitely pull it, because this fragrance, and the more it sits, it's getting quite rich. And there is to my nose, there's almost a little bit of a burnt caramel quality to it. I don't know if you remember when I reviewed it, but I did speak to the fact that I was getting a vanilla and a caramel that maybe had been sitting on the stove for a little bit more than it should have, but it's not an unpleasant scent. It's beautiful, but it's just not a scent that I would ever consider pulling for the spring or summer season. But when you combine it with MOHRA Silky Rose. You've got that rose and you've got some of the fruitiness going, and you combine it with Tariq. Oh my goodness, you are going to get a completely different fragrance. One that can definitely carry you, not through, I would say, informal occasions during the spring or summer season, but definitely semi-formal. You could take it to the office, just events that have a bit more of a formality than just like going out to ride your bike or going out to the supermarket or anything like that. These two together are just a delight. And I find that for those of you that have been struggling a little bit with Tariq, if you have MOHRA Silky Rose and you combine them together, you will probably pick up that note that is kind of unsettling for you in this fragrance may definitely be mitigated. Oh, this next one is so good. I can't even wait for you to see it. Layering combination number 10. Hey guys, I'm going to try and hold all three fragrances. Now, let me just start by saying, oh my goodness. Wow. So I just finished talking about combining Tariq and combining MOHRA Silky Rose. And I told you that you would get a beautiful spring and summer appropriate, fragrance for occasions that are not informal or casual. But when you combine these three, let me tell you, this is like perfect to take on a vacation during the summer, because you have Hareem al Sultan for during the day, and then for like the afternoon, like you came back from the beach and you changed into a beautiful like summer dress and you're just gonna go stroll around the resort, or you're gonna step out and go shopping, MOHRA Silky Rose. And then for dinner time, oh my goodness, combine these three and you are going to have the perfect summer vacation fragrance for the evening. These three will create such an impact. There is just something about this mix. I think it's the excessive fruitiness that you find in Hareem al Sultan combined with the balanced nature of MOHRA Silky Rose with the florals and then some fruitiness, right? And then you have that strong vanilla that definitely makes a statement and grounds the fragrance and gives it character and oomph. This is definitely a high compliment getter. And I tell you, just a beautiful, beautiful layering combination. Moving on to layering combination number 11. Okay, so depending on your preferences and what you're into, here's what I have to say. You may think right off the get-go, you may think, okay, Arahi, so we're talking about spring and summer layering combinations. Why are you bringing us Choco Musk and French Coffee and Caramel Cascade? I really don't know what to tell you, but what I can tell you is that these three are magnificently beautiful together. So my thought is that within the fam, of course, we have people that love coffee fragrances. You may recall my reaction to this fragrance. It was just too much of a coffee note in here for me. This is like real coffee. Like if you took real coffee, like a couple of shots of espresso and you spilled them on yourself. Remember that I told you that I felt like I was a barista somewhere? But when you take, and you have to combine them in the same order that I've presented. But if you take these three and you combine them, you are going to get an exquisite, gourmand, coffee-centric fragrance that I think that you can easily pull off all throughout the spring season. Now, is this a layering combination that I personally would pull and wear during a hot summer day? No, but there are people that would. So I figured, you know what? Let me just go ahead and bring these three and just share it with them. And I leave it up to you if you pull it for spring or summer or not. But what I can tell you is that these three, I will be using this throughout the spring season. And for sure, I will be so rocking this during like fall and winter because it is truly exceptional. Now, moving on to layering combination number 12. Now, these are two fragrances, guys, that on their own, I am absolutely obsessed with both. QAWAFI is just incredible. It is a fragrance that does have quite a bit of character and I would say is even a bit intense. If you picked up QAWAFI, can you please in the comment section let me know your thoughts? I absolutely think this fragrance is magnificent. But there were some of you that once I talked about QAWAFI, you reached out to me and you said, well, I'm going to hold on QAWAFI. You know, it does sound interesting. I can tell that you highly recommend it, but I'm going to go ahead and wait until the fall season because we're going into spring and summer. You may want to reconsider that because when I tell you that this layering combination is unbelievable, guys, like unbelievable, because you have all those intense and very kind of bordering on dark notes in QAWAFI. Even though QAWAFI on its own, I am telling you, is a fragrance that you can definitely pull throughout the entire spring season, and I dare say during the beginning of the summer. I would really not pull it for like a very hot summer day. But when you combine it with AFNAN's 9 a.m. Pour Femme, oh my goodness, because the florals and the bit of fruitiness that's in this fragrance and the sweetness does something to this fragrance that I can't explain. And together, can we say beast mode? They are a beast. But this is a fragrance, guys, that you are going to be able to do anything during the spring and summer seasons. You can dress it down, you can dress it up, formal events. It is just an outstanding, like it really blew me away. And it is a fragrance also that I find to be quite unisex, whereas this to me is not unisex at all. When you put these two together, you are going to get a unisex fragrance. And I feel that I also need to speak to the level of maturity of when you put these two together. I don't think that this is a fragrance for someone that's in their early 20s. I would definitely say that this is for someone that is above, you know, late 20s, 30s and above. Because there is a lot of character in this fragrance. It is not going to give you a playful fragrance, is I guess what I'm trying to say. But it is definitely a layering combination that you have to try. Now, you guys, I'm sure, have observed that whenever I film a video, I leave for like the end, the ones that I am like, just like, typically, like in a video such as this one, I am in love with every single layering combination. But of course, there are combinations that are just, I just don't even know how to explain how they make me feel. They are highly mood altering and addictive type of layering combinations. And the next ones that I'm going to be sharing with you, especially this next one and the one after it, oh my goodness. But when I share with you what they are, you are automatically going to understand why I said what I just said. So moving on to layering combination number 13. Do I need to say anything? Like, do I need to say anything to you? Listen, if you've been on this channel for a while and you have been with me and you have heard me talk to exhaustion about Flor Oud, and you were also there when I first hauled North Stag 4, and you saw my reaction, and then you saw the review video where I talked about it and how I talked about it, you know how this is just messing with me. It's just really like, I can't even, right? I can't even like keep it together. Like, Arahi, film the video, please just focus and film the video. But I can't. It's just, oh my goodness. These two, If you own Flor Oud and you own North Stag 4, you're probably sitting there thinking, huh, that makes sense. Oh my goodness, guys, this is an exceptional fragrance. I have nothing else to say. Just think about everything I've said about Flor Oud and how highly I have recommended it, about Flor Oud and every fragrance in this specific collection from KHADLAJ, which is like off the charts, like incredible quality. So you have Flor Oud, and then you bring in all the citrusy beauty of North Stag 4. Absolute perfection. That's all I'm going to say. This fragrance is a must try. This next one, I am so tempted to just show you the fragrances right now because you know what? Moving on to layering combination number 14. Do you now understand what I've been going through on my own without you while trying to prepare this layering combination video? I mean, is there anything else that I need to say? Look at the two fragrances that I am telling you to layer. I mean, Ajwad Pink to Pink, guys, with that guava, very dominant guava note that almost borders on like, you know, some people have written to me and told me that they really believe that there's just a ton of oud in this fragrance. No, guys, believe me, there is oud in this fragrance, but it's not about the oud. It's about the guava. The guava is the one that is just twisting things for you. But when I tell you that when you take this fragrance, you apply it first, and then you spray this fragrance, oh my goodness, it is like summer happiness. That's the way that I'm going to describe it. Summer happiness. Because think about the amount of depth and oomph that you find in this fragrance with that very strong guava note. And then imagine all of the fruitiness of this watermelon beauty combined with this fragrance. Just think about it for a minute. And after you think about it, if you own both fragrances, please go and try it and let me know your thoughts. Okay, so there's a FEMME member that typically tells me, like when I have one of those videos like today where I just can't control the passion and the excitement and I'm just like totally into what's going on with the fragrance, she types, "Stop it." So this would be your opportunity to say, stop it, because this next layering combination, oh my goodness. Layering combination number 15. All right, guys. Do I even, again, good, because you know what, guys? So many of you are so good at fragrances. And I'm sure you're looking at this and you're like, yep, I could have seen that coming. So you have Mango Punch, right? And Mango Punch is a fragrance that to me is not like a playful fragrance like some of the other fruity, summery fragrances that we've hauled and that we've discussed. No, Mango Punch has quite a punch to it. I think that the name is perfect. Maybe they designated the word punch as, you know, the punch drink. But for me, no, this is a mango that is punching you out because this is a punch in your face mango. The opening is that sharp and strong. And like when I talked about it, I talked to you about the fact that this is definitely mango skin. Not just the fragrance, but this is definitely what mango skin smells like. Now, throughout the olfactory journey and once you get to the dry down, you know, it is going to go through some changes and those changes will lead to an incredible dry down. Not that I'm saying that the opening is not incredible, but it's just a mango punch. Now, bring in by Saffron. And now you've added even more character to this fragrance because now you're bringing in the beauty of the spiciness of the saffron, which in this fragrance has been done. This is one of my favorite saffron fragrances right now in my entire collection, not just in Middle Eastern fragrances, in my entire collection, because this is, number one, the performance is incredible. Number two, can we say beautiful, spicy fragrance without being overdone? It is perfectly blended. But when you combine these two, it is just perfection. Please let me know if you own both of these fragrances. Please try it and let me know your thoughts, because it is just magnificent. And I can tell you that the resulting fragrance is a fragrance that I wouldn't say is a daytime fragrance. I would use this one during the day. I would also use this one on its own during the day, but together, this is not a fragrance that I would like use for an informal occasion. Let me correct that, an informal occasion during the day. The layering combination of these two is just not a fragrance that I see myself pulling for a daytime informal occasion. This is definitely a fragrance that is going to have quite a bit of oomph. But that being said, this layering combination to me is exclusive to the seasons of spring and summer, and maybe the opening of a fall season. All right, so we're almost at the end, and let's move on with layering combination number 16. So these two are really, really incredible together. So when it comes to NASHAMA, guys, I am so in love with this fragrance on its own. I don't know if any of you picked it up after we discussed it, or I know that several of you already had it and told me that you loved it. But if you've picked it up recently, can you tell me how you're feeling about NASHAMA? Because I absolutely love this fragrance. This is gorgeous. So there is a beautiful fruitiness. It's a fragrance that is definitely sweet. There's also some patchouli, and it is also a bit spicy. But altogether, a very beautifully blended and balanced kind of fragrance. Now, when it comes to Ego Exotic is a really, really nice fragrance. But if I'm honest with you, I haven't been crazy about it. Do I like it? Yes. Would I keep it in my collection? Absolutely. But have I been crazy about it like NASHAMA and other fragrances? No. But, oh my goodness, when you layer these two together, oh my gosh. So in Ego Exotic, you're having a fragrance that is dominantly about white florals. But this is not like a heady white floral fragrance, one that will give you a headache. No, it's done rather beautifully, but the white florals are really strong. There's also a bit of powderiness, and it has a musky dry down. For some reason, guys, these two are just exceptional. So the powderiness that you find in Ego Exotic is definitely going to take control at the dry down of the layering of these two fragrances, but it is going to be so exquisitely beautiful. I just think that these two fragrances were meant to be together, because together they are a powerhouse. It is also a very, very strong fragrance. And this layering combination gives me a fragrance that I think definitely requires a certain level of maturity. Does it smell dated or anything like that? No, but I definitely think you have to be in your 30s or above to really pull this off. This is really not a playful combination at all. There is even like a bit of a boss vibe to this layering combination. This is also a fragrance that I think is not good for daytime occasions. I think this is more for like late afternoon, evening, and late night during the spring and summer season. Now moving on to our very last layering combination number 17. So these two fragrances, guys, are just beautiful together. And let me tell you a little bit about it, right? So we know that Now Women is supposed to be like a Burberry Her Elixir kind of inspired by fragrance, which already gives it like a bit of electronic quality. There's some berries in here, truly, right? It's like a strawberry kind of milkshake kind of fragrance, if I'm honest with you. But I absolutely love it, and it performs exquisitely. Now, when you combine that fragrance with Rassasi Victory, oh my goodness, because Rassasi Victory is like a freshie, but a freshie with quite a bit of character. Not as much as just bergamot. It's not that strong, like citrus note. No, there's a mix of notes here, but in the end, you are going to get that freshie quality to the fragrance. Now together, what it does is it gives you a fragrance that you can perfectly use during an even super hot summer day, which would not be the case for Now Women I don't think that this is a fragrance that you can really pull and use during a very hot summer day, because it may really be kind of cloying, but together. So Victory brings a freshness that makes this fragrance absolutely beautiful. This combination is also one that I would dress down, I would dress up for any occasion during the spring and summer seasons. All right, guys, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I hope that this was as enjoyable for you as it was for me, because these 17 layering combinations were quite a bit of work, I'm sure you understand, but it was just so much fun and so worth it. I will be very, very interested to hear your opinions as you start to layer with some of the fragrances that you may already have in your collection. As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and to all of our new fam members, welcome. Thank you so much. We're so glad you decided to join us on this journey. Anyway, guys, I will see you in the next video.